Craig Whitaker.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I want to put on record my support for a robust strategy to tackle obesity. I do, however, want to question plans to ban broadcasters and online platforms from advertising food and drink that are high in fat, sugar and salt before 9 p.m. If the government are going to have any form of impact, then even foods that we consider to be health foods will be covered under this ban. Eggs, cheese and avocado. The list of foods that include these items are endless. Let's just take a look at the ramifications of a ban on TV commercials. 40 years ago, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I started my retail career with the Pizza Hut chain of restaurants, which is probably long enough not to have to declare an interest today. But today, the UK's three biggest, Pizza Hut, Papa John's and Domino's, they get 90% of their sales of pizza from online and apps like Just Eat, Deliveroo and Uber Eats. That, Mr. Deputy Speaker, was before the pandemic. That is 60,000 jobs at risk directly and tens of thousands more in the supply chain. And this is just three companies in the UK. Do the government seriously consider this is a price worth paying? Similarly, let us look at breakfast cereals. Under these proposals, we ban some of our everyday breakfast items from being advertised. The ironic thing, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is that over 50% of breakfast is no longer bought from a supermarket, but from cafes and greasy spoons around the nation. This immediately puts major brands like Kellogg's at risk, who have spent millions of pounds on reformulating their brands to reduce fat, sugar and salt, but under the proposals will be banned from advertising their products before 9 p.m. Meanwhile, our mainstream TV companies lose out on approximately 75 to 100 million pounds of advertising revenue that tax is paid on in this country. The Sun reported back in March that the government were looking at doing a U-turn with banning online adverts, as the evidence shows it will have little effect. Instantly, this creates a chasm between mainstream broadcasters and those online platforms who contribute little to the financial well-being of the nation because they are offshore companies. There are millions of small businesses who rely on online advertising to promote their businesses in this country and indeed in the Calder Valley, Mr. Deputy Speaker. There is absolutely no evidence to say that this blanket ban proposal for mainstream broadcasters and online advertising will make one iota of difference to reducing obesity in this country. And I urge the government to rethink these draconian measures. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Greg. Neil Hanby.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.